Yo, what's up? This is Elder's Terror, and welcome back to my channel, where I like to talk about all things spooky, scary, and have a little bit of fun. Today on the channel, we are going to be talking about 6 horror movies being released in the month of June that you guys have to see, and that I will absolutely be covering on this channel. Yes, this month, we've got lots of horror movies, ranging from long-awaited blockbuster follow-ups to retellings of true stories in horror form. Today, we're going to be talking about 28 years later, the new Predator, M3GAN 2.0, The Ritual, Dangerous Animals, and even I Don't Understand You. Yes, we've got a lot going on in June, with 4 movies coming out just on the 6th alone. And we've got some of the bigger movies coming out towards the end of the month. With so much to discuss today, how about we just jump right into it and follow up as we move along, shall we? Coming up first on our list, we've got another entry into the Predator canon, with Killer of Killers being the first adult animated series from the franchise. This is a 3-film animated miniseries from the director of Prey, where we will witness as predators attack across 3 different periods of time in humanity's past. It promises to follow 3 of the fiercest warriors throughout human history: a Viking raider guiding her young son on a bloody quest for revenge, a ninja in feudal Japan who turns against his samurai brothers in a brutal battle for succession, and a World War II pilot who takes to the sky to investigate an otherworldly threat to the Allied cause. While all of these warriors are killers in their own right, they are merely prey for their extraterrestrial opponent, the ultimate killer of killers, the Predator. Back in October 2024, executive Steve Asbell revealed that Prey director Dan Trachtenberg had written, directed, and completed a secret film in the Predator franchise that would be released prior to his other film, Predator Badlands, that releases later this year. In April, the film was revealed to be an adult-targeted animated anthology, and the project was officially titled. The source material here is vast and deep. If you look at these 3 periods of time, there is so much cool stuff that can be drawn from here. Predators, their lore, and the situations that you can put them in just allow for so many really cool situations that we have not seen play out on the big screen. Though this is an animated anthology series, this is not a TV show. These are 3 separate films that are just being released as part of an animated collection. I'm very excited to see where they go with all of that. I know that the animated style might throw some people off or bring some people crawling to their feet, but how are you guys feeling about this? You'll have to let me know in the comments down below. Personally, I'm really excited to see what they do with the potential in this sandbox here. I'm also excited to see if this sets up for Predator Badlands in any type of capacity. Could Killer of Killers give us a little bit of insight on what we're getting later this year in the live-action Predator movie? I certainly hope so, because I find these to be a lot of fun. Next up for June 6th, we've got The Ritual. Now, not to be confused with the last movie we saw titled The Ritual that took place out in the woods with a group of friends trying to overcome some trauma and being attacked by some sort of eldritch deity out there. This is different. The Ritual is a possession-centric horror film, and the short of it here, we're getting Al Pacino playing an exorcist. The long of it? Based on a true story, the film follows 2 priests as they attempt to put aside their differences and save an allegedly possessed young woman through a series of dangerous exorcisms. As stated, this film is based on a true story, and in real life, an American woman whose alleged demonic possession and exorcism occurred over several decades, culminating in an extensive exorcism that lasted from August 18th to December 23rd, 1928. In Arlington, Iowa. The woman was said to have exhibited symptoms akin to possession beginning at age 14 and was 46 years old during the final exorcism by a Roman Catholic priest. The case is considered by theology and paranormal scholars to be one of the most abundantly documented cases of possession in the 20th century, including a whole profile in the 1936 issue of Time magazine. The exorcism was reportedly violent, with the woman levitating, howling, and hanging from the frame of the doorway. The first session lasted from August 18th until August 26th. A second session occurred between September 13th and September 20th, followed by a final 8-day session that lasted from December 15th to December 23rd. The extensive exorcism resulted in deterioration of the woman's body, as she refused to consume food, also expelling foul debris and what appeared to be tobacco leaves. Her head, lips, and face reportedly swelled, and she was also able to speak in multiple languages that were formerly unknown to her. The exorcism was reportedly so grueling and the woman's behavior so violent that several nuns in the Franciscan order asked to be relocated to a different convent. The woman was believed to be possessed by her own father, who had cursed her with the help of his lover. Obviously, both exorcisms and horror movies based upon true stories are here to be debated. Who knows exactly what's true and what's been stretched throughout time? But this movie right here, Al Pacino playing an exorcist, Hey, that's got me sold. The movie looks like it could be a mixed bag, either coming out really good or really bad. We will just have to see. Yeah, so right out the gate, these first two look pretty interesting to me. So me personally, I'm not really big on anime, but I've seen some really great stories told right through that medium. And I'm on board to believe that this Predator anthology will probably fall right in line there. I know a lot of people will be weary about this and probably won't even mess with it because they don't like the anime aspect, but I think it'll be worth a watch. At its worst, it's on Hulu and you can turn it off, but at its best, this could be a really cool contribution to the Predator lore. I've said it a bunch already, but there's truly a lot of things that they could do with this. All of the different locations and time periods that they could explore look really interesting, and there's even a shot in here that appears to be of somebody being taken to the Predator homeworld. That's a place that hasn't been explored too much in animation or film, so I'd love to see where we're going with that. Now, Al Pacino as an exorcist, what more really needs to be said about that? That is just goofy enough to be awesome. This movie could be really good. This trailer definitely has a little bit of ups and downs to it. At some points it looks really good, and at some points it looks kind of like a daytime soap opera. But honestly, we're not gonna know until we see that final product, and this thing has a lot of potential. Possession and exorcism is a subgenre of horror that always gets my, and I know a lot of other people's, skin crawling. There's just so much to play with there. You can go into body horror, there's a lot of shocking imagery and stuff that they could give us. Demonic possession is definitely the scariest aspect of the paranormal spectrum when it comes to horror movies. Will this film live up to the hype, or will Al Pacino just look really goofy trying to play an exorcist? Now, before we get to two of the bigger movies on this list, we gotta talk about these last two films coming out on June 6th. Dangerous Animals is a 2025 survival horror film directed by Sean Byrne, previously known for directing The Devil's Candy. In the film, a shark-obsessed serial killer holds Zephyr, a rebellious surfer, captive on his boat. Racing against time, she must figure out a way to escape before he carries out a ritualistic feeding to the sharks below. With a contained story and a cast of horror first-timers, this is set to be a pretty straightforward time for those who are into survival, drama, or realistic horror movies. Lastly, coming out on June 6th, we have I Don't Understand You. This horror comedy stars Nick Kroll and Andrew Reynolds as they portray a wealthy gay couple from Los Angeles. The two are celebrating their 10-year anniversary with a scheduled trip to Italy when they get lost on their way to their dinner reservations. Guided by a disgruntled farmer, they believe they've found their way, but in reality, their long night of misfortune, blood, and accidental murder is only getting started. The film premiered at South by Southwest in March of last year to pretty good ratings. It's racked up a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes and has received generally favorable reviews. Finally, moving on to June 20th, we're getting the long-awaited and highly anticipated 28 Years Later. 28 Years Later is an upcoming post-apocalyptic horror film produced and directed by Danny Boyle with writing from Alex Garland. This is the third film in the 28 Days Later series, following 28 Days released in 2002 and 28 Weeks released in 2007. The film marks the return of Boyle, Garland, and cinematographer Anthony Dodd Mantle to the series, all of whom worked on the original film, with Cillian Murphy also serving as executive producer. The film's premise states that 28 years after the rage virus escaped a medical research laboratory, survivors have found ways to exist amidst the infected. One group lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single, heavily defended causeway. When a father and his son leave the island on a mission into the dark heart of the mainland, they discover the secrets, wonders, and horrors of the outside world. The 28 Days Later franchise is one that people absolutely love. They've been dying for this new movie to come out. People cannot get enough of their zombies. The original movies in this franchise definitely changed the culture around zombies. It took them all from being slow, mindless, and stupid little creatures to being fast, agile, and super aggro at all times. As mentioned, in this universe, the zombie virus is referred to as the rage virus, and after 28 years of this thing decimating the globe, it seems like the world is in a very different situation than the one that we live in today. This franchise has always explored what happens a little bit deeper into the zombie apocalypse than a lot of people are willing to go. Now, of course, we do have The Walking Dead, which has stretched out for an absolute eternity at this point, but the zombies in this series are very different from the zombies in that one. People are gonna have to stay on their toes to have survived this long, and seeing the things that we do in the trailer, it looks like this has changed humanity as a whole here. We see religious religious ceremonies, we see piles of bones, we see people that are surviving and people that have seemingly lost their wits altogether. What will the culture of the world be like 28 years after the rage virus escapes? Will we see any familiar faces returning? It's been hotly debated whether or not the zombie that we see in the trailer could possibly be Cillian Murphy's character. Seems a bit far-fetched, as 28 years have gone by, he probably would have dissolved a little bit, but maybe the movie will open with his character dying, I don't know. He is involved in the project, so I guess we're gonna find all these answers out when the film finally drops later this month. I know I'll be enjoying this one in my favorite Dolby theater. 28 years later, I mean, what more can I really say about this? I know that people have been waiting for this for such a long time and that they are so excited to finally see this in the theaters. I am absolutely one of them. When I saw the first two of these series as a kid, they absolutely terrified me. I had never seen zombies like this before. I'm interested to see how they've adapted to things after all this time. As soon as this movie comes out, maybe even a bit before if I'm lucky, I'm getting in that theater, I'm seeing this thing, and I'm making a review on it for this channel. Be sure to subscribe to follow up with that. There's gonna be a lot of content coming. Lastly on this list, we have M3GAN 2.0 coming out of Blumhouse, and while this sequel isn't being listed as a horror movie, its predecessor was. And I'm sure that there's gonna be a lot of crossover here, so you know what? Screw it. We'll talk about it. M3GAN 2.0 is the upcoming sci-fi comedy action thriller follow-up to its blockbuster first entry. 2 years after the events of M3GAN, Gemma has become an author and an advocate for regulation of artificial intelligence, while trapping the still-alive M3GAN into a small, harmless robotic doll. However, when M3GAN's technology has been stolen and used by a defense contractor to create a military robot called Amelia, and the clone becomes self-aware, turns on her creators, and attempts an AI takeover, the face of imminent destruction causes Katie to convince Gemma to rebuild M3GAN once again, this time with upgrades so that she can fight Amelia. The movie looks slapstick, action-packed, and like a great time if you're into the franchise. The IP has always been one that treads on the edge of the line of horror, but this second entry seems to have just thrown it out of the window completely. So if you're not a fan of the M3GAN franchise already, this is probably not going to be the one to turn you on to it. Especially not if you're a horror nerd going into this expecting like a female Chucky or something like that. This story has taken the idea of an updated millennial Chucky for girls and taken it so far at this point. I mean, for real, this thing looks like a John Wick style comedy. Either Blumhouse has completely lost the plot or they are narrowing in on some gold here, one of the two. For fans of the franchise, I'm sure that you guys are going to be frothing at the mouth for this one to hit theaters. And all those people hoping for M3GAN to come to HHN is probably about to skyrocket. This series has an extremely dedicated fan base that absolutely love the movies that they've been given so far. Will this one keep up a trend? Will it set a new direction for M3GAN and possibly Blumhouse as a whole? We'll just have to find out at the end of this month. It is worth it to note that there is a third entry into the M3GAN series coming, this one being kind of disjointed but still attached to the same IP called Soulmate that's supposed to drop either later this year or early next year. I wonder if this will set up for that one in any capacity. The premise for that film sounds a little bit different and doesn't actually include M3GAN, it just takes place in the same world, but maybe we'll see some lines being drawn here. Are you a fan of the M3GAN series? Did you really like that first movie? If so, how do you feel about this new one? Let me know in the comments down below. Personally, for me, like, M3GAN wasn't targeted at me. I'm not hating or nothing, it just wasn't my thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really interested to hear from somebody that actually really appreciated that movie, how they feel about this new one coming out and being so different from that first one. It seems like the major things are there for the people that really liked M3GAN, but I mean, it's not a horror movie anymore, so I guess the people that really liked that weren't really interested in that aspect of it, or maybe I'm just missing the point here. Please let me know in the comments down below. I don't want to be ignorant here. Don't leave me in the dark, guys. So how are you guys feeling about all of these movies coming out in the month of June? Horror is raining from the sky this year. We've got so many follow-ups to so many franchises, it's making my head spin. My most anticipated movie of this month is definitely 28 Years Later, but I absolutely cannot wait to get in and see all of these films and talk about them here on the channel with you guys. But how are you guys feeling about these movies? What's your most anticipated movie coming out this month? Let me know in the comments down below and let's chat about it. There's a lot of different things for a lot of different kinds of people, and I'm interested to see what kind of range we got out there in the audience. However you're feeling about the video today, comment below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed my video today, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. And if you really liked it, send it over to a friend you think might enjoy it too. I'm still new over here on YouTube, but I've got hours and hours of awesome horror content over on the channel for you guys to binge watch. Be sure to head over there, you'll probably find some more videos you like. But as always, I've been M3GAN 2.0, and whether your day's been going good or bad today, I hope it gets better.